Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the Saltwater series. I'm going to try a little sand eel pattern, something a bit smaller for UK waters. Not that there's anything wrong with fishing big flies, I know lads that do fish big flies in the UK waters, but I'm just going to try a little sand eel pattern. Now, inspiration for sand eels and smaller baitfish flies came from, if I can find it, on my little shelf here. Came from Kenney Abrames box. Got Stripe of Moon and a Perfect Fish. Illusions in Fly Tying. And these are like the OG of Flatwings. And some of them are quite hard. These two books are quite hard to get hold of now. And luckily a dear friend got me them as a gift. So I've learnt a lot from them books, and if you follow me on Instagram you know that I like tying bucktail flies, following in the paths of sort of Paul Monaghan and Gunnar Bramer and stuff, so just trying to scale a few things down and tie some smaller flatwings just to try and broaden my horizons a bit really. So I'm just going to tie a little sand eel pattern which I kind of tied freestyle a few weeks ago, and it came out quite nice, so I'm going to tie it for you now. So first things first, hook in the vise is an Arex SA220 streamer in a size 2. Again, just try to scale everything down, don't need to be massive. Wax is a GSP 50 denier. Just going to give it a wax. You have to wax this stuff because it's super slippery. So I'm going to stick with the same principles of tying as the original Flatwings. So it's a bit more of a classic style Flatwing. So I'm just going to set the thread to opposite the barb, and I'm going to come in with the sparsest amount of bucktail. Very sparse, probably 10 fibres, if that. Just going to trim the butt ends just so they're straight. I'll tie that in. Pull it nice and tight. There we go, we're happy with that. For bucktail, for the support that we use, I'm just going to use one of these little Ewing mini packs. Now they are a cock neck and they're nice and stiff, and they sit there a little bit concaved, so they're perfect for the kind of fly that we're tying. But they are good for dry flies. I use them for like my sherry spinners and a few other dry fly bits for the river. But just the way they sit a little bit concaved, which is perfect if you tie them concave facing up. So it's just going to strip away the fluff and then tie that in. 2 turns, make sure it's sat perfectly on top of the hook. A few thread wraps down. Trim off the excess. And just add a drop of glue. There we go. So that's going to act as a support for the flatwings and make sure that they don't like wrap around the hook shank. So the second feather, the actual flatwing side of it, is going to be a light olive. This is like part of the Ewing's woolly bugger pack, but again, you can buy big packs, you can buy small packs, you can sort of buy in smaller packs, you can have a bit more of a play around with different colours and lengths and have a bit of a play. So, but I got a woolly bugger pack in this colour and I like it, so I might buy the full saddle next time. So I've got a feather, it's about 6 inches long, And it's got a nice taper to it, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm kind of looking for that fly that's got that feather that's got a nice taper with a little bit of marabou on the end. So I'm going to wax my thread up. I just use bog standard beeswax for mine. I'm going to take a little bit of this marabou stuff from the base, just snip a bit. I'm going to dub that on. And that's going to act as like a pillow for the flatwing to sit nice. So I'm going to take the flatwing. I'm going to measure the length. Don't want this too long, but probably just so it's to the length of where the vice stem comes in. Take your time with it, you don't have to rush. Just peel away the fibres that you don't need and snip off at a point that you're happy. So then we're going to offer that flatwing feather up. Just tie that down. So that's nice and flat on top of the white one. So it sits perfectly flat, like so. The next fly I'm going to cut, in fact I'm going to add a bit of super glue before I add my next feather, just to make everything secure. The next feather is going to be from a full saddle. This is a lavender colour. I'm just going to pick a nice feather, not too long, but a little bit longer than the olive one. The same again, just measure it, just so it comes just marginally over the top. There we go. And just ensure that that sits nice and flat on top. So we've got 3 feathers on there now. We've got the support, the olive and the lavender. And just wrap all the stems down so they're all secure. There we go. Right, so for the body, in fact I'm just going to add a little bit of this flash first. I'm going to add 2 strands of, this is micro lateral scale from Hedron. Fold it in half. Again, this is the good thing about freestyle. So just fold that in half and just work it back the way. There you go. So we've just got a little bit of flash, not much going on. There we go. Then we're going to take some other flash. I've got some pearl flash somewhere, he says. I'll use a silver, holographic silver, I think we'll use today. Something a bit different. This is a little bit like a polar holographic silver. This one's from Kenney fly tying. I've just took 3 strands. I'm going to tie it in. Just so it's on my side. I'm going to take the wraps forward. I'm just going to add a little drop of super glue along the hook shank. There we go. And I'm going to take the flash and I'm just going to twist it, not too tight. I'm going to start wrapping it down the shank. There we go. Originally it would ask for a body braid, but I haven't found a body braid yet that I like. I think I might have found one, but I'm yet to get my hands on some. So once I get it, I'll try it and I shall let you all know. So there is a fly out there that you can fish just like that, called the Ely, and it works just fine. Have a cup of tea. Here we go. So we're going to tip the fly upside down. I'm going to take some white bucktail. I quite like the softer bucktail. I don't like stiff for saltwater flies. So just going to take a little pinch from sort of the top of the middle. So if we've got the base and the tip, and this is the middle, I'm just going to try and take it from the top of the middle because I don't want it to flare too much, but I don't mind a little bit of flare because I'm going to soak it at the end anyway. So nothing much, probably about half a pencil's width or a matchstick's width is what we're going to end up with. So I'm going to grab it halfway down, just peel out all the stuff that we don't need, and I'm going to look at the tips and just try and line up the tips a little bit. And I want that bucktail to come so it reaches the tip of the that support feather. And I'm just going to trim my butts so they are flush. I'm going to tie that in as neat as I can on the bottom with 3 wraps. I don't want to pull too tight. I just want to work it with my thumb so it covers almost 180 degrees. Then you just pinch, tease it back, and then pull tight. And then we can just tidy that up. And at this point, if it started to work around the hook shank, you can just tease it back. There we go. Spot on. So for the bucktail on top, I'm going to come in with some purple to accent the lavender. Just again a matchstick's width. It's more just to add a little bit of coloration to the underbody. I'm just going to check it for size. Yep, I'm happy with that. Just so it comes just over the back of the bend of the hook. Tie that in. 3 wraps. Again, just with your forethumb and your forefinger and thumb. Forethumb. There you go. And just neaten that up. And I'm going to come in with some olive. This is like a pastel pale olive, but you can come in with whatever colour you've got. Olive, pale olive, dark olive. You can make it however light or dark you want. Again, a little matchstick's width. We want to try and keep as much length as we can here to come over the top of that that purple. So that's looking pretty good. So just going to trim the butts and then tie that in as neat as you can with 3 wraps, 3 loose wraps, and then press it down work it around, and then pull down nice and tight and secure it off there. There we go. Perfect. So, just to make it a little bit darker on the head, I'm going to come in with some scrimpish hair. This is a synthetic hair. We've got a little bit of flash to it. You can add Nyack, you can add craft fur, you can add Yak, Steve Farrer blend, anything really. But I quite like the limpness of scrimpish. So I've just got this in a dark olive colour, or an olive sparkle it's called. So it's just going to give it a little bit of, flash to the fly on the head. I don't want too much, so I'm just going to cut a little length and see what we've got to work with. Again, just try and take out some of the shorter bits. And it's got a nice natural taper to it. So I'm just going to measure it up for size. Don't want it too long, maybe just over the bucktail. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to cut that, the butts flush. I'm just going to tie it in, same as bucktail, 1, 2, 3, and then spread it around with my fingernail and my thumb, and pull down nice and tight, give it a couple of wraps. There we go. So then, to finish the fly off, you can either add eyes, or you can add a bit of jungle cock. I'm going to add some cheeks to this, and they're going to be purple cheeks, just to bring a bit more colour out. And when I say cheeks, I mean probably 10 strands of bucktail on either side of the fly. 2, 3, happy. Same again. Just measure the same size. 2, 3. Just try and separate the fibres if you can. There we go, and just trim off the butt ends. There we go. And then just tidy this head up with some thread wraps. So the last thing to do is add eyes. I'm going to add some natural jungle cock. Just while I've got it to use, it's getting a bit expensive. I was just discussing this before, that it's getting more and more expensive as the years go on. So tie one in one side, just where the tip of the white separates from the black. There we go, try and get them even as you can. It's not the end of the world if you can't, the fish won't care. There we go. And then just push them back and then just do a couple of wraps and then tie off. Quick thread, and then just before I do anything else with it, I just like to come in with a black Sharpie, just colour that thread and start to colour the scrimpish on top. There we go. And I'll give this a soak, and then I'll come back and show you how to finish it. I'm back in a minute. Right, I'm back. So I've given it a soak and a dry, and that is the finished result. And that is my freestyle dirty sand eel with mainly natural materials, but with a little bit of scrimpish on top, just for a bit of free movement. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will be doing more. I do intend to try and do one a week, whether that's possible or not with work and everything like that, I don't know, but I'll try to do one a week to start off with. This is just the start of like a mini saltwater series, but saltwater is mainly what I do, so it might go on to more saltwater style patterns. Yeah, so if you like that, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.